The ocean covers over 70% of our planet, and we have only explored about 20% of it. What sits in the remaining 80% is where things get seriously strange. These are the top 10 most mysterious objects ever found underwater. 10. The Baltic Sea Anomaly. Back in June 2011, a Swedish diving team called Ocean X was out on the Baltic Sea doing what they do best: scanning the seafloor with sonar equipment, looking for shipwrecks and lost cargo. Peter Lindberg and Dennis Asberg were leading the operation. Their sonar picked up a massive circular object sitting about 87 meters below the surface, right between Sweden and Finland. The shape was roughly 60 meters wide, with a raised outer rim running all the way around it like a thick wall. Behind it, stretching back about 300 meters across the seabed, was a long, flat trail. It looked exactly like the object had slid or been dragged into that position before coming to a stop. When the team dived down, they found the structure elevated off the seafloor, appearing to rest on pillar-like formations underneath. The surface had sharp right-angle edges and corners. There was also a 2-meter wide opening at one end, leading directly into the object. One diver reported that all electronic equipment, cameras, satellite phones, dive computers, cut out completely when they got within 200 meters of the structure. The moment they swam away from it, everything powered back on without any issues. Geologists later examined rock samples and concluded the material was volcanic, possibly formed by ancient lava cooling on the seafloor. The leading scientific explanation is a glacial deposit, shaped over thousands of years by shifting glaciers. But the divers still point to those right-angle edges and the electronics blackout as things that natural rock formation simply does not produce. 9. The Antikythera mechanism's shipwreck. In 1900, a group of sponge divers from the Greek island of Symi got caught in a storm and anchored near a small island called Antikythera. While waiting out the weather, one diver went down and came back up describing a pile of rotting bodies and horses on the seafloor. Those were actually bronze and marble statues, and what they had accidentally found was a Roman-era shipwreck dating back to somewhere between 70 and 60 BC. Greek authorities pulled up an enormous haul of treasures over the next year, but the single most mind-bending object recovered was a lump of corroded bronze the size of a shoebox, which sat largely ignored in the Athens National Archaeological Museum for 2 years before it cracked open, and researchers saw gears inside. That object became known as the Antikythera mechanism. It contained at least 30 interlocking bronze gears, precisely cut, and assembled into a working mechanical calculator. It tracked the solar calendar, the lunar calendar, the positions of 5 planets visible to the naked eye, solar and lunar eclipses, and even the 4-year cycle of the Olympic Games. Nothing else like it appears anywhere in recorded history for the next 1,400 years. The engineering required to build it did not re-emerge until the 14th century in Europe, with the first mechanical clocks. They used X-ray tomography in 2006 and 3D scanning in 2016 to read inscriptions hidden inside the gears, which revealed the full operating manual was essentially written on the device itself. If you're thrilled to find out what's coming up next, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel, The Missing Clue. It will motivate us to come back with more amazing stories. Plus, YouTube will keep you updated whenever we post a new video, so don't forget to subscribe. 8. The Yonaguni Monument. About 25 meters below the ocean surface, just off the southern tip of Yonaguni Island in Japan, sits a structure that has been splitting researchers into 2 loud camps since its discovery in 1986. A local diver named Kihachiro Aratake found it while looking for hammerhead sharks in the area. What he found was a massive flat-topped rock formation with what appear to be terraced levels, vertical walls dropping straight down, wide flat platforms, and a series of carved-looking steps. The whole structure runs roughly 250 meters long, 25 meters wide, and rises about 27 meters from the base to its highest point. Two large stone pillars stand near its center. The team that has investigated it most thoroughly is led by Professor Masaki Kimura from the University of the Ryukyus. He spent over 15 years diving the site and documented what he says are traces of post holes, a carved star shape, a triangular pool area, and a face-like carving on the rock face. Kimura believes humans built this structure at least 5,000 years ago, possibly 10,000 years ago, before the last ice age even ended. On the other side, Boston University geologist Robert Schoch says the rock type at Yonaguni is fine sandstone, which naturally breaks into flat layers and right angles on its own. He says wave erosion over thousands of years created those steps and terraces, not human hands. Japan has never officially excavated the site, so neither side has won the argument yet. 7. SS Thistlegorm. On the night of October 6, 1941, two German Heinkel He-111 bombers were targeting British supply ships in the Red Sea. They located the SS Thistlegorm, a British armed merchant vessel that had been waiting at anchor in the Strait of Gubal near the Sinai Peninsula. The bombs hit. Both rear cargo holds detonated. The ship went down in under 5 minutes, killing 9 crew members. The Thistlegorm sank to about 30 meters and sat completely forgotten on the seafloor for a decade. Then in 1955, Jacques Cousteau heard rumors from local fishermen about a big wreck somewhere in the area. He found it, dived it, filmed it, and then apparently did not publicly reveal the exact coordinates. Because when he returned years later, he found it undisturbed. What makes this wreck one of the most extraordinary underwater sites in the world is what it is still carrying. The cargo holds contain 2 steam locomotives, over a dozen BSA motorcycles, Bedford trucks, Bren gun carriers, Lee Enfield rifles still in their crates, Wellington boots, aircraft parts, and a full medical supply kit. Everything is still in position, largely intact, 30 meters down in the Red Sea. Divers started visiting regularly from the 1990s onward. Today it is considered one of the top wreck dives on the planet. The ship sits upright, the 2 locomotives visible through the collapsed rear hold, and thousands of fish have colonized every surface. 6. The Bimini Road. In 1968, 3 divers found a long underwater formation of massive flat stones sitting just 5 to 8 meters below the surface off North Bimini in the Bahamas. The pathway stretches 800 meters across the seafloor, arranged in a curved J shape, with some individual blocks measuring up to 4 meters wide and stacked 2 to 3 layers deep. The edges are straight and the corners are sharp right angles. U.S. Geological Survey geologists studied it and said it was natural beach rock, sediment that hardens and fractures in straight lines over time. They said the patterns match the surrounding seafloor geology completely. Then in 2006, William Donato found stone tool marks, tenon joints, and buried stone columns underneath the visible surface. He said those details cannot come from natural rock formation. What makes this even harder to dismiss? Back in 1938, a writer named Edgar Cayce predicted that ruins of Atlantis would be found near Bimini in 1968 or 1969. The divers found this in 1968. That timing alone made the site famous overnight, and the debate around it has never fully settled. If this is blowing your mind so far, hit that like button right now and keep watching because it only gets weirder from here. 5. The Black Sea. Ancient shipwrecks. The Black Sea has almost no oxygen below 150 meters. That means no organisms that break down organic material can survive at those depths. Wood, rope, fabric, all of it sits down there and does not decompose. Between 2016 and 2018, a research project called the Black Sea Maritime Archaeology Project, led by Professor John Adams from the University of Southampton, sent remotely operated vehicles down to survey the seafloor. They discovered 67 ancient shipwrecks, all in extraordinary condition. One wreck, dating back approximately 2,400 years to ancient Greece, still had its mast standing upright. The rudders were in place. The rowing benches were still there. The carved wooden decorations on the stern were fully intact and clearly visible on camera. The ship looked like it had been sitting in a museum, not underwater for 2,400 years. Other Byzantine and Ottoman wrecks at the same site were equally preserved, making it the oldest collection of intact shipwrecks ever found. The team filmed everything but left it all down there. Pulling ancient objects out of an oxygen-free environment and exposing them to open air would destroy them fast. 4. The Milky Sea Phenomenon. On the night of January 25, 1995, the crew of the British merchant vessel SS Lima was sailing through the northwest Indian Ocean when the entire sea around them turned white. Not reflecting moonlight, not bioluminescent waves. The entire surface of the ocean, stretching to every visible horizon, glowed a steady milky white light. The crew estimated the glowing area extended for roughly 15,000 square kilometers around the ship. Sailors had been reporting milky seas for centuries. The phenomenon appears in Jules Verne's writing, and old maritime logs going back to the 1600s describe it. But the Lima encounter was the first one to be documented while simultaneously captured by satellite. Stephen Miller and Stephen Haddock used archived DMSP satellite imagery and found the exact glow, matching the ship's position and date perfectly. The cause is a bacteria called Vibrio harveyi, which produces a steady, continuous glow instead of the usual flashing light most sea creatures make. For 15,000 square kilometers of ocean to light up evenly, these bacteria have to gather in enormous numbers and then switch on together at the exact same time. What triggers a bloom that massive in specific ocean zones is still unknown. 3. The underwater river in the Black Sea. There is an actual river flowing along the bottom of the Black Sea. It has a current, a channel, rapids, and waterfalls, all underwater. The channel runs for over 60 kilometers, reaches 35 meters deep and 800 meters wide in some sections. If it were on land, it would be the 6th largest river in the world by water volume. Researchers from the University of Leeds found and mapped it in 2010. The reason it flows is simple. Saltier water is heavier than fresh water. Highly saline water from the Mediterranean pours through the Bosphorus Strait, sinks straight to the bottom because of its weight, and carves out a defined channel along the seafloor. It moves like a real river. It has banks, carries sediment, flows downhill, and moves at a measurable speed. But nothing lives inside the channel itself because the water flowing through it has zero oxygen. The sediment layers built up along its banks act like a timeline, recording exactly how long this underwater river has been running. Researchers are still working through that data today. 2. The Mariana Trench's unknown sounds. The Mariana Trench in the western Pacific Ocean reaches a maximum depth of 10,935 meters at a point called the Challenger Deep. In 2014 and 2015, a team from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography lowered hydrophones, underwater microphones, into the trench and recorded sounds over a 23-day period. What came back was a previously unrecorded sound. The researchers named it the Western Pacific Biotwang. It is a complex noise that starts with a low metallic moaning sound, shifts through several frequency bands, and ends in a high-pitched metallic whine. The full call lasts about 3.5 seconds and repeats at irregular intervals, both during the day and at night. The sound has characteristics that match biological sources. It is structured in a way that random geological noise is not. The research team, led by Sharon Newkirk, proposed that it is most likely a new type of baleen whale call, possibly from a minke whale subspecies that is either undescribed or previously undocumented in the Pacific. Minke whale calls are known to vary regionally, and the deepest ocean trenches are among the least acoustically monitored places on Earth. What is living that deep, what it is doing, and how many species down there still have no name? Those questions have answers that no research team has fully reached yet. 1. The Lost City Hydrothermal Field. In December 2000, a research team on a vessel called Atlantis was mapping the seafloor near the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Their sonar picked up something unusual rising from an underwater plateau. They sent a camera down and found a field of massive white towers growing straight up from the seafloor. Every hydrothermal vent field found before this one was powered by volcanic activity and released acidic, sulfur-heavy hot water. These towers were completely different. They are driven by a chemical reaction where seawater hits ancient mantle rock deep underground, producing heat and alkaline fluid with zero volcanic activity involved. The tallest tower, named Poseidon, stands 60 meters tall, the same height as a 20-story building, and has been actively venting for at least 30,000 years. That makes it the longest-running hydrothermal vent system ever found on Earth. The water it releases hits 90 degrees Celsius and is highly alkaline. Snails, shrimp, crabs, fish, and dense layers of microbes all live across the entire field. The chemistry inside these vents closely matches what scientists believe early Earth looked like before life first appeared, which makes this place directly useful for studying how life started. NASA has pointed to the Lost City as an example of what could exist on Europa and Enceladus, the moons of Jupiter and Saturn that have oceans under their ice. If life can survive in complete darkness with no sunlight down here, those moons are absolutely worth looking at. Every new expedition to the site finds microbial species that have never been recorded before. Every single one of these was sitting down there for years before anyone even knew to look. The ocean is not done surprising us. Subscribe and be here when the next one surfaces.